and we take a look at the grain and livestock trade. And great to visit with our friend Todd Horwitz live on the floor at the CME Group in Chicago. Bubba Trading, it's BubbaTrading.com. Todd, a lot of folks talking about all our analysis out at Husker Harvest Days last week. Really appreciate the connection we have with CME Group and people like yourself. So let's try to help them out, buyers or sellers of this grain. We're just kind of giving what the market is and either side. But we see a little bump here as we begin this harvest. Talk about what you're seeing.
You know, Mark, I think, as you know, I've been a fan of grain since we got down to these lower depressed levels. I think that this is a good opportunity to buy. I think it's, you know, for the average farmer, producer, or trader, it's more like being in Gitmo because it's the torture of the markets not being able to move. But one of the things that should tell you is that it looks like they found a nice base. We've got to find a bottom before we can get a rally and go to a top. So I think we found that bottom in corn and wheat. I think soybeans remain in that big range. I mean, it looks like the Novi beans are going to hit $10 today, maybe more. They've come off of that $9.40 level, which we were looking to buy last week. And sure enough, here we are approaching the $10 level again. I think overall, the space looks real good. I think we've overpriced into the fact of what the Fed may do tomorrow. I think we've overpriced in what the actual value of the dollar is going to be based on, I think, the prices we're seeing. They've got the dollar price much higher than it is right now. So I think overall, there's a lot of great factors that indicate higher prices down the road. Now, again, it's the suffering we have to go through trying to get there because, again, it's the markets have been really tight, and every time you think they're going, they kind of push them back down. So it's a challenge, but I think if you hold here, you're going to be in pretty good shape. And
again, if you have said all along here, if you're a producer and you have storage, you want to store for better prices later. If you're a producer or a user of grain, this might be a time to do some pricing. Am I right there?
100%. First of all, if you can store it and the cost of storing is not going to be greater than what you might be able to sell it for, 100% store it. And if you're using it as feed, it's a great time to be locking in those feed costs. You know, one of the most important things we can do as a farmer and producer is know what our costs are going to be, so when we're building that marketing plan, we don't get a surprise down the road. And if you can lock in costs now, I mean, I've already started to talk to some of the guys about locking in crude and fuel costs for next year because prices are coming down there as well. So if you can lock in costs, you know what your cost is going to be. It makes it a heck of a lot easier to build your marketing plan.
And December corn 4 cents higher. We're looking at soybeans. You mentioned going to $10. It sounds like it might be a little tough to get above that and stay above that very long. 21 cents higher now. Now 9.91 3/4 as we get an update, live update here, up nearly 20 cents.
Yeah, I think again you're going to see 10. The high of a couple of weeks ago. But I think overall, if I'm in and I'm looking for a spot to sell, I'm looking to sell it at $10. Again, I'd like to buy a dip to the downside. If this is going to be the actual breakout to the upside, I'll get another opportunity to buy them up here, so I won't be giving up much by selling here. I look for 940, and I think the next time down to 940, then you want to buy them because I think then they'll bust through, and then we'll see higher prices.
And I'm hearing some early harvest results, very early in the soybean harvest season, but there's some 60, 70 bushel yields out of Illinois and Iowa. I heard that been reported by some other broadcasters.
You know, I've heard that as well, and again, you know me, Mark, price is more important to me and where they're trading because that will tell you what the real numbers are.
Yeah. And looking at wheat, Todd, we're going to have you back and looking at the livestock trade here. I'm going to give the wheat numbers for our viewers and listeners. And the wheat trade following along, many say, a nickel higher in Chicago, December. Kansas City, the nearby December, up 5 1/4 as well. And Minneapolis, the December there, is up 2 3/4. Back to look at the livestock trade. We'll get Todd's thoughts there. Are we going to be at a rebounding? Where are we there? Buying or selling? Is it a bottom? Is it ready to turn higher? We'll find out what he thinks in 1 minute.